And the other's the agenda.
Okay, good.
Today's the 28th.
Yes.
Minutes.
Shannon, you have 7:05 in your lunch.
7:05, we're live. Okay, my name is Shannon McHugh. I am Chair of the Community Relations and Human Rights Commission. I call to order our October 28th meeting at 7:07 p.m. We will have a roll call. So Commissioner Deandra Singeti Daniels here. Commissioner Joyce Miller here. Commissioner Reverend Marty, I am here. Franklin Chambers is excused. Commissioner Paul Conway.
Here?
Commissioner Carroll is not currently here, but may come. And our council member liaison. Kirk Murphy. And we have visiting this evening, Carrie, even if you can't see Carrie. Okay. So, we're gonna call to order. All right. So approval of did everyone get Joyce's email for the September 23rd, 2021 minutes? Oh, yay!
Sorry, I'm
Welcome.
late. I went to a restaurant and it took so long to get my food that I didn't get to eat it. I just put it in a box.
Where's your share?
Did you bring it up to share, Carol?
Do you know where her name tag is, Karen? It should be right there. If it's not,
It's not.
okay. We ran out.
I'd be happy to impersonate Carrie Harrington.
But Carrie's here.
Oh, Carrie's here.
You have impersonators.
There'll be.
Carrie, I don't think I've ever met you in person. I think I've only received your emails.
On Zoom.
Welcome, Carol. Okay, so did everybody get Joyce's email for the September 23rd, 2021 minutes? Did everyone get a chance to kind of review them? We can make a motion to approve the minutes. Second. We have a 1 and a 2.
Okay.
All those in favor of approving and passing the September 23rd, 2021 minutes, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? No. All right, our minutes are passed for last month. I don't believe we have any petitioners this evening. Does anyone have any correspondences they'd like to bring to the commission? No, okay. Any announcements? Nope, okay. We're moving forward into business. So first we want to discuss, our next 2 meetings will fall on holidays. So typically we combine that meeting and pick a day. Will we like to do that again this year? Would you like to meet in November, guys, or December?
Well, November, the last Thursday is Thanksgiving, so I propose December 2nd.
Is that a Thursday?
It's a Thursday.
Sounds good.
So we're feeling December 2nd? All right, so
7 p.m.
That's not the night of tree lighting or anything like that, is it?
No, then I think the tree lights on.
Is there any other meetings?
yeah, will we be interfering, Carrie?
No, there's a 4 o'clock board of public service, but you're good for 7.
Awesome.
Isn't the tree lighting on Saturday?
Luke, you're good for that day?
I am. I just cleared my phone.
Paul, how are you? You good for that day?
Sounds good.
DeAndre, we're good. Carol?
December 4th.
Second.
The second.
Second.
Reverend Marty?
Oh, that sounds good.
Joyce?
Yes.
And we're doing 7 p.m. Shannon?
7 p.m. So we will combine our November and December meeting for December 2nd at 7 p.m.
Excuse me.
Awesome. So, I do have on the agenda discussing, oh, Luke, yes.
Just a question going forward. On point number 3, I have an update on something related to Indigenous Peoples' Day. Do you mind if I
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
jump on with you too? No, not right now, just saying when you go on to that point.
Yes.
I can contribute.
Okay. I have down discussing our last meeting with Acting Chief Witzenberg. If anyone had thoughts, feelings, suggestions, takeaways from the meeting.
Well, now he is chief with.
Right.
So it's really good that we were able to connect with him and, get up to know him a little bit because, I think he's really evolving as a police chief, to understand the community more. So I think it's a really good idea to have him here and,
Yeah.
Yes, especially for like a continued relationship with him.
Good in the
Yeah.
ground floor. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
And I was impressed with the way he was open to, listening to people and potentially changing things if they were going wrong. I mean,
So who was with the woman? What was her name? Katie?
Yeah.
I feel like I was glad she was there. I thought she added a lot of value to the discussion.
She does, yes.
That's
Um,
Katie LaFleur.
She's great.
She's on the council too, and she's not
Katie, you talking
No.
to Katie Bacher?
Yeah, Katie Bacher, she's
Oh,
not.
Katie
on-
Bacher.
Yes.
Sorry, wrong. Katie.
What was her title?
I think she's human resources.
Yes.
Isn't she?
Yes.
She's
pretty wonderful.
I concur with
Personnel
Sal's comments about Chief Wissenberg. I think he's really a qualified chief for our police department. And I was lucky, I had a follow-up discussion with him last week. And went into some detail on his willingness to really get the police out on the streets to a greater extent than it has been in the past. And even into the bars, talking to the bartenders and trying to get more communication between the people on the department and local citizens. And I think he's pretty articulate and pretty intelligent, very intelligent actually, and well qualified, and I'm really hopeful about his service. I think he's gonna do a good job.
Yeah, because we're the size of a community that we really have an opportunity to be different from the normal, maybe like not so good community relations between police and people on the street, so I think it's great that you went and met with him and his voice.
Yeah, he's pretty open to people going in and talking. I think he's got an open door for any of us if we call up and either drop in or just arrange to go in and talk about our concerns. I think he's more than willing to converse.
Yeah, and I know from working with the addiction community, like, there was such a stigma against people who had a drug addiction, or especially a heroin addiction. And, like, a lot of the people who have become addicted in our community are kids of my friends. Or, like, it's been a problem that has touched everyone, and it's changed the conversation from, oh, those horrible drug addicts that, there's no helping them, they'll never change, and, to seeing people go into recovery and our recovery community get stronger and stronger, and more resources for people, and people going through all that and having families and kids and succeeding, and, we just have such an opportunity as the size of this community to take a new approach to dealing with these social problems that, affect everybody really. And so it's cool. I'm happy.
Okay. Next on our agenda, discussing the proposal for Columbus Day to be shifted to Indigenous Peoples' Day. Luke, please.
Yeah, so I talked to Katie about this a little bit, and I also went to a really phenomenal presentation done by Michelle Shenandoah of the Oneida, up at Hartwick College. Well, was this month? I think it was October. It was this month.
Yes.
It was phenomenal. It was a wonderful history of the area, from a perspective that, in most cases, folks don't learn. I went to her after the class, after her presentation, and she was very receptive. I talked to her about our monument situation, and she said she was happy to work with me on it, so I've started making those lines of communication. Someone up at Hartwick is interested in working on it as well, so it's been a busy month, but we've finally got contact, so it's pretty exciting. She's very well respected. Does a lot of traveling, a lot of lecturing. I believe she has I believe she's a lawyer. And very, very informative presentation, and sounded like she was willing to lend us her expertise.
Great, that's wonderful.
Is that just for the monuments or also the city?
I would hope the city too. I asked her directly about the monuments, just because that was kind of front of my mind at the moment, but, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I'm sure she would be happy to help us with, making Oneonta a little bit less, stereotypical in the way we do some things.
Thank you, Luke.
Is Indigenous Peoples' Day on Monday, this upcoming Monday?
No,
I think it just passed.
Yeah, it just passed.
Was the,
It passed.
well,
It's the 12th of October.
so it was the second Monday. It's Columbus, so that's probably.
I'm sorry.
October 11th was the actual date of it this year.
Yes, hopes are that in the future, we can join up with council member Lepari Shu and talk about trying to switch it from Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples' Day. So that'll be in a future meeting.
Okay.
I think that would be a good opportunity to just to kind of like look at Oneonta and other ways too, besides like the symbolism of Indigenous people, and see how we can be more accommodating overall for Indigenous people in Oneonta. Or but even if they're just visitors, although this is their land, so technically we're the visitors, but you know what I mean?
I think the end of it could be us as a commission basically recommending that the council go ahead and support this idea.
Right.
Right, that's
Yeah.
the basis of, yes, what we're trying to accomplish.
Good.
Yeah.
So is there like a date for that meeting yet or no?
December 2nd at 7, if she's
Oh.
able to make it.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, next Monday's first day of American Indian Heritage Month. That's what it is.
I'm surprised it's still Columbus Day here because I thought it was like a national thing.
It is.
recently.
It's
They just made that announcement, right?
It's a national holiday. I'm not sure what's been done nationally about the name of it.
I think it goes by state.
Does it?
Pardon me?
I think it depends on your state. I don't think it is a federal, it is a federal holiday, but I don't think the federal holiday's been renamed yet. But we can look it up.
I'm not sure which states observe Columbus Day versus Indigenous Peoples' Day, or if there's anything else or not, but I think it is, I think Reverend Marty's ready to go, the observance at the state level.
It would just be good for us as a city to come together and decide that for ourselves and put that good energy out there and those good vibes. So definitely want to bring it to our next meeting, should the council member be available to do so. It can also be something, if not, where we can create our own write-up and give it to her to, go along with whatever motion she gives.
Well, I'm wrong. It was proclaimed by President Biden to become formally recognize the holiday as Indigenous Peoples' Day.
So it is federal.
I knew it was always a federal holiday, but it's been federally renamed.
Renamed,
Right.
right.
But I guess it was just an executive order, I didn't go through that. That's great.
It's a good first step.
Yeah. Probably.
Okay, so, next up is, holding our Trailblazer event at Foothills. Currently, the person I'm working with is on vacation, and we'll be having a conversation on Monday about more specifics.
Okay.
So, we'll have to get back on that. But I'll have more info, at our next meeting.
Jeff Doyle.
Yes. Yep, yeah. I was trying not to name drop, but we can if you want, it's Jeff.
He's great.
And then, so with the farmer's market, there was like this back and forth because I was asking them if we could come down, and then they were suggesting like that we'd have to file an application as a 501c3, we're not one. Like, we're not a non-for-profit, so I was like, okay, if we're not a non-for-profit, can we still get a community tent? They sent me the application again for the non-for-profit to go there and have a tent, and I was trying to explain, that we're a city, even though we're this commission, we're not a non-for-profit. And so it got to, they just kind of didn't respond back to me this last time. But, I guess it's like, if we had to pay for a table there in the future, are we willing to do that? Like, if we want to pay for space there versus being able to utilize the community tent, because as it's looking, we're not a 501. So.
Do you know the price point for that?
Not a clue, because it's shifted since we last were there, and prior to this, all we had to really do was email someone, ask to come in, they'd tell the days that were available, we'd make, the agreement to come, we went into the community tent section, it didn't cost us anything. Now it looks like they're only accepting, non-for-profits for the community tent. So, I wasn't made aware of what it would cost, but I guess that's why I'm asking if do we want to pay for space, maybe?
I'm a little confused because last year,
2 years ago,
2 years ago now, I guess it was, yeah, the last election year,
we did it for yeah.
when
But
I asked to set up a table for registering voters, the person just took it to the committee and came back and said, so I'm wondering if you, in conversation, did you have a specific task or outline of why you wanted a table there?
I mean, I can, if you'd like, I can privately show you the email. I said, who it was, where I was contacting from, why I was contacting. They simply sent me back the 501c3 application. And then I recontacted them back and they sent me back the same application when I asked for clarification about the market and the table use. So I'm just, pulling apart from this that, we're not a 501, so we can't file that application, so we can't get a community table.
Yeah, but well, here's a question, who owns that land that they're on now next to Foothills?
Ben Gunther,
Okay, so they're probably renting, so their costs have gone up.
he's probably letting them.
Just
do it
curious
for free, I know
if
that
that's-
was, there's no reason we should, we're not selling goods, correct?
Yeah, that's just.
Are we collecting money in any way? There's
No.
is it Betty Lee or?
It's not Betty, they no.
Yeah, they just misunderstood. There's no way that they would charge us to
Yeah, they
set
didn't
up
give
an
me any.
informational table over there.
So it's just
Kind
saying,
of like a
hand tables, to
non-direct
be
message where
honest.
you went through like a website or you spoke to someone individually.
I mean,
Concerned that they wouldn't want a group like us down there
They do.
because. we're
no,
providing information to the
they
community.
do, it just may be that somebody,
Yeah, they just,
they didn't read
It could be she misinterprets
yeah.
Did you say?
her own mission.
Did you
So
say
I-
Secret Service has a table there?
I explained,
Secret
Or-
it's the Secret Service
Secret
choice,
Service, armed forces have a table there?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Who
Chief.
did,
The Marines.
who did you say has a table there?
I would think a table like ours would be something they would desire to have.
Oh, I thought you knew of another group that had a table there that would be similar to.
No, I don't know at the moment that there are any tables for local community groups providing information. No, I don't know that. But we've had that in the past,
Yes,
haven't
we
we?
have had that.
So
but
that's
someone
why
else
it seems
was running the
absurd that they would
market.
change this policy.
Someone else was running the market at that point. But, so I emailed her like all the, or that, I'm not sure who I was speaking with, all the specifics about why we're trying to utilize it, who we are, what have you. The response I got was, thank you for your email. We do offer a community space from the market for local non-for-profit groups. Voter information is permitted, but any type of political activity or campaigning is not permitted. I'm attaching the email. So she attached, the application for the 501. I said, thank you for your response. We're a city commission, that's not a non-for-profit. We don't make any money or get paid, but since it's through the city, we're not a 501. Would that be okay? And I got the, there's no response.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Might be easy to do voice to voice if there's a number.
yeah, I think you need to try and have a discussion.
So the purpose of us going to the farmer's
Because-
market,
There is no number, it's just a PO box or an
Right.
email.
Right, I'm wondering if they have a policy like that, because they don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry setting up a table for giving out information.
Right,
Because there's a lot of groups in town that do information when you have these fairs
Yeah.
at different, I mean, you see all the different types of tables, and so.
Shannon,
right,
Carrie,
we have to have, each of us would have to have a signed community guest application that's completed. Certificate of insurance of 500,000, a general liability insurance, and a photo of your market display or marketing materials introducing the organization.
Shannon, Carrie's got a contact sheet that she can email to you.
Okay. Thank you, Carrie.
That would help.
Good.
I'm assuming that, you know, as we have in the past, we can utilize the city's insurance for commission.
But they're probably about to move into that walkway for the winter.
Right.
And then they'll have much less space.
Right. So, I mean, this is probably a next,
So
this is a next year situation.
probably talking about May.
and just to clarify, our intentions of going to the farmer's market was to register voters.
So.
It was 2 years ago when I went there on behalf of the commission.
Okay, when I was running the market, I went for NAACP. And then at the same time, we had voter registration cards, and then were there for the commission. So I was like there and bold for everybody kind of, and just had information, brochures, stuff like meeting people, talking. I mean, Paul used to come down. Or, yeah, like, I would have crafts and stuff for the kids to do, bubbles, things to give out, and we'd like little like, things to hand to people walking by, to like try to get awareness for the commission. So, yeah, but in the past, it was someone else running it, and again, it was much easier, I just said, hey, I wanna go down there this weekend, and they're like, cool, come down every time. Okay, cool. Okay, so first market, Carrie's gonna help us. Yeah, Carrie. Our budget for next year. Mr. Luke Murphy.
Yeah, so, the city is working on our budget, our close to final, draft will be laid on the desks, I believe, on Tuesday. And we have, as of now, our budget is $500. I did forward a request by Shannon to our budget director, for 800, for different activities. The budget for the city is, we're getting it done, but it's been a tough year. Thanks to the hard work of all department heads, Carrie included. We got our cut our rainy day fund from about 1.2 million down to about 600,000. And we're still working on it. So there's a lot of sacrifices that are being made at City Hall by everybody working there. So I did put the request in. Hopefully we'll get the extra $300, but if not, that would be the reason why. But Shannon wrote up a very nice thorough write-up request, and I did forward that to our director. But we are, as the budget line, last time I saw it, which was Tuesday, we are guaranteed 500, which is not as much as we had pre-pandemic, but it's about averaging what the top of what we were using.
Right, so just to go off some of what we say, thank you, Luke. Joyce, I don't know if you remember, we kind of were not putting receipts in for things. We were like buying food, remember Betty wasn't claiming food, Franklin didn't claim the pizzas for Job Corps, we didn't claim like stuff here or there, so it makes it look like we don't need the money.
I know, that's why I encouraged payment of some of those things and
Right.
the people,
Right.
to donate those stuff.
So this is like a nice commission lesson. In the future, when we're spending any money that's going towards the commission's benefit, the city's benefit, you know, for the commission, to the citizens, we need to submit receipts. So that we can show that we are in need of the budget that we're hoping for. A lot of it had to do with just the timing of COVID and when we were trying to get things, you know, together and rolling, we finally got things moving and COVID hit. So then.
Of course, we're gonna wanna put in, if we find out if the farmer's market will let us, if there's a cost, we're gonna put that in the budget, right?
So, thank you, yes.
Depending on how many times we wanna do it.
Right. And like Job Corps was costing us like $75 to like $100 each time. So like, obviously, we had a $500 budget, we only spent like $38 a year or something. So it was because we all just were like not wanting to utilize the budget, we wanted to leave it in case we needed it for something, but now it looks like we didn't need it.
Yeah.
In other words, don't be so nice.
Right, all of us, it was literally all of us, it wasn't one of us that was like, here's a receipt.
Well, I think something we could do as a commission is like write a projected budget for the year. So we can like, kind of like allocate money in the future, so we don't have to worry about saving and we can spend it as we need it. I'm pretty good at spending money, but,
Right. So
so.
I have future events next, so we can try to start, thank you for bringing that up. So we can try to
Good segue.
start doing it. But we do these great events and, you know, we need to have a budget for them. I was like really perturbed we couldn't support Juneteenth like how we really wanted to. Like we
Yeah.
can only get help with insurance. And it's just, those situations are popping up more because we just don't have the funds.
So when do they need that budgetary information?
Well, I already submitted some stuff.
Okay.
Luke already submitted it.
Okay.
But it's city budget is annual.
So I think if we're setting goals for ourselves, we can have a realistic budget going into 2022.
Yeah, so the budget gets laid on our desk Tuesday. So I don't know how likely it is to make it into this budget. It's pretty expensive, and I know Virginia Lee, our finance director, is working pretty much 24/7 on it. So I'm not sure if it'll make it to this budget, but
So we're going to 2022, so 2023.
2023's budget.
How much do we actually spend on the event for Trailblazers? Do you remember?
So it's gonna shift because we're looking to utilize foothills, possibly, that's like, so that's kind of up in the air. If Jeff, I need to talk to him before I say anything, but, you know, just figuring out if what foothills is gonna cost. It may turn out that, I mean, cause we can look at our budget and say, okay, we have 500 and we know we're gonna have 500. We may end up needing to just have it back here at City Hall this year. Until, you know, our budget gets a little bit better. But typically Trailblazer is not like a pocket breaker between the plaques and the frames and food, it's around $75 to $100, right, Joyce?
It was less. I'm trying to think what my check was. I didn't bring the folder that had,
The reimbursement check was $49.90, and then you had an engraving fee of $29 for perpetual plates.
So around $75.
Yep, the reimbursed expenses.
Okay.
I don't know what,
Yeah, so typically between $75 and $100 if we're having it here at City Hall.
And it'll be a little bit less this year too, because it'll be 2 theoretical winners as opposed to the 4.
Right, the thing with City Hall is that it's getting tight, we're kind of like standing over everyone, it would be nice for us to have this like. To make a nice open space and we can have more people come, and invite more people. To share the celebration with us if we can do it at Foothills. But if our budget doesn't allow.
I think Foothills is a nonprofit, so I'm not sure if they're in a position to like donate space.
Yeah, they charge $2,100 for first night, $2,200, but that's for the whole facility, for the production room. It probably would be about $400 or $500, I would imagine.
Cause we're just looking for an
Unless
hour
they
or two.
donated it
Right.
somehow.
Well, you said you're gonna have a meeting Monday.
Monday,
So
yeah.
we'll
And
know
we'll
for
know
sure.
more.
I hope, I mean, I don't know, positive I'll try. But we're only looking for an hour or two on an evening at some point in March. Does anyone
They
leave?
do donate,
Huh?
they do donate.
Oh, they do
They
donate.
need to, because, you know, they're trying to survive as well, but
Right,
maybe.
well,
They do it our budget was, they might have mercy on us. you
Right.
know. Who
Would it be
knows?
possible to just use another big space in town, like one of the churches? I know one that would probably be happy to have you.
a good idea.
Because in COVID, you're looking for a place with a mammoth ceiling, because that's the safest place to be in March, isn't it? Usually
That's
in
a
March.
beautiful space.
it's in March, yeah.
I don't know. That's a good
And I-
place.
Well, if we're gonna get in the habit of spending our budget money, well, maybe Foothills won't be off the table yet. But we'll see. It's good to know we have a free, hopefully free.
But that's a beautiful space.
Yeah.
with, you know, actually better acoustics.
Oh,
to be
acoustics are
honest,
amazing.
Than the atrium and everything like that.
Okay, so, yeah, and then typically our workshops are anywhere between $75, $125, depending on what we do. Typically,
When I was,
well,
I'm like looking at it now.
we do about 3 a year, like concrete, but we've done up to 5, I think. I've done 5. And again, so like Franklin would buy pizza and then, you know, we weren't putting that in and like Betty Lee would bring every baked good on earth, her wonderful soul, which she wouldn't ever ask for that money back. Joyce too, we all, so, it's probably gonna end up costing a little more than that, but we also were talking about bringing the workshops to the community.
Which workshops specifically?
We had like a getting to know your leaders, know your rights workshops, leadership workshops.
when NAACP did the Know Your Rights up at Suco, do you know if they got charged for the
I-
space that was used up there?
I don't believe so.
No.
No, yeah,
So
Good to know.
a space at Suco might be an option too.
Yeah, that's also.
That would be great.
for community. The only thing about Suco, like people who may not have access to a car and like people who want me who are gonna be walking. Or, you know, have to take public transportation and stuff, but that's great, like we should write down Suco. And have that like as an option. to possibly-
They have parking.
And Franklin,
Right, which we
Right.
do.
right, but I'm saying that people who may not have a car or have
Right,
access
yeah.
to transportation.
She's saying for like people walking on foot, but there is this, the.
Well,
the
it depends,
Camp
yeah, it
University
depends on what event
LPT.
you're.
We have Franklin, he's just not here this evening, but he might be able to like be insight on that, if we do choose to utilize. Suco.
Yeah, they might have different rules, at least so far. It may change before March, but the church is not eating inside. Nobody's eating, because you have to take your mask off. We have to keep our masks on all the time, because we're high transmission. They may change by March, I hope, but that's something to keep in mind. We wouldn't have snacks. We wouldn't have refreshments if you did it at a church. And we don't have the parking.
Yeah, and then in the past, when I was running the NAACP picnic, the commission would help sponsor the NAACP picnic to the conjunction. But we were hoping to run our own picnic. And that's gonna cost money. That's gonna cost money. That's gonna cost a good chunk, because we're not a non-for-profit. So spaces like Stewart, like local spaces aren't going to really donate as they would if we were non-for-profit. Because we're not technically a tax write-off.
Yeah, I think last meeting, I kind of had mentioned, oh, maybe we could pair with a nonprofit for our events.
Are you doing well?
Or anything.
Yeah.
Well, not a meeting, I was just making like a calendar just to keep track of it. No, I just meant like if we were doing woman trailers or maybe like the women's League of Voters or something.
Yeah.
Would be a sensible partnership if they were nonprofit, really not, but it's.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Good, yeah.
We also, I don't know if we want to, cause I was having, typically we were setting, the parade, right, the holiday parade. Do we know when that is? Do we know? when that's?
That's the fourth. Yeah.
That's the 4th.
Yeah, I know that.
Saturday.
Do you know what time?
It's usually in the early evenings or I don't know. It's a.
Yeah, the last parade
Well, we'll have a
was the
meeting
day
before
night.
then.
Yeah.
When
I
it
was
was on
thinking
Saturday.
of the lake. Yeah.
Yeah, the lighting of the tree has been at night, but the parade is an afternoon. event.
It's typically like 11, or maybe it was 11.
It's right on mine.
Yeah, I looked it up the other day.
But is anybody interested in walking in the parade or participating in the parade this year?
Yes. The 4th of July parade, walking in the parade was so much fun. It was great, I had a great time.
It was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people go to that same parade.
So the last couple of years, I make these individual bags and like decorate them for the kids to carry, for people to carry. So like, when people walk up, they can just take a bag of candy to throw. And then I have people pulling like wagons with extra candy, so when they run out, they just throw the bag in and take a new bag.
That's not something you should.
I'll have the budget for candy, right, Carrie? Thank you, okay.
Because you haven't submitted anything, yes, you do.
Buy a lot of candy, folks, because I think about like 12,000 pieces last year, and we were done not even halfway through. Remember, Joyce, when we were throwing candy, we were done like, you ran out. I have to buy a lot of candy. Carol, are you finding it?
I had it.
I found it before, it's
I did too.
Destination Oneana, but I'm not finding it on there.
They line up at 9, or the road closure starts at 9, so I would presume closer to 10.
Yeah, yeah, because I think it was 11
Right.
the other year, so probably lineup is at 10. Carrie, who's running it? Destination? Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's cool with the commission, I could reach out to Katrina and ask if we could be a member, walking party.
Right,
Yeah, well,
Does that have to be approved or something?
let's, see if, we can get towards the front.
Front and center.
Yeah, last time we were like third or fourth in, we were behind horses, it was great.
I don't know if there's anyone has like a group, like I think it would be kind of nice if we invited like kids to walk with us.
Oh, that's what I invited all,
Bridge Park.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what kind of group?
No, it's,
Daycare kids.
Or
yeah,
just
it's
all your
all,
kids?
but like, it's more than that. I have like a network now, of people who have come and have been walking with us and bring their kids down. The only thing, I would say is we wanna go ahead and invite other groups to walk with us. And also, I'm dying to have Job Corps walk with us, but I don't know if, cause with the COVID that they can.
At the same.
I'm gonna have to, I'll email.
They usually volunteer to help.
Right, but just like the regulations of the Job Corps right now because of COVID, so, but I will,
So, the commission is going to walk that day?
you're gonna ask. Okay.
Well, I'll ask.
Yes, typically,
And so we need somebody to carry the banner.
banner people, well, hopefully, the other years the kids carried it, but like maybe we can get some other groups to come join us, so we can have free hands, kind of. Joyce, are you not wanting to carry the banner this year?
I haven't thought that far ahead about, because on Saturdays, I'm often committed to Saturday's bread now because of COVID. And wouldn't be available.
Okay.
So that's,
I'm like 99% sure I'll be around, so I think that's something I would feel comfortable asking someone who's walking with us, delegating that task. Yeah. Assuming we get it, but I don't see why we wouldn't be able to do something.
I feel like between all of us, we have to have enough connections to get into the holiday parade.
Yeah.
If not, Carrie, can you get us in?
I can talk to Dio.
I cannot promise.
She'll just let us in.
No, she'll love it.
They-
I
every-
can't promise or speak for them, but I can talk to her.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Carrie. See, we needed you here tonight.
While we're getting into things, the Oneonta Festival of Lights is coming up and we're trying to recruit people to do displays. Last year, the NAACP took the whole large pavilion and did a tribute to Martin Luther King. in there, and it was
oh, in the
really
park,
beautiful.
Right.
If we could do something, if we could think up a theme that we would like to do, I could try and get some supplies from First Night. And if it was on a social justice theme, I think maybe First Night could raise money to get the lights and, chicken wire or PVC pipe materials that we would need. But if we could contribute the labor to put it together into a display, almost everyone in the town.
Like, what are we doing this?
What is it?
What?
It's fun, you get together and we're gonna start letting people set up in the park December 4th, which is Saturday. And then there'll be 2 full weekends before it starts on December 18th. And then it'll run all the way through New Year's Day, so it's a 3-week period. And we had thousands of cars coming through there, some nights there were thousands of cars each night. It was like, I can't even count the number of people, almost everybody in the whole area drove through there at one time or another. And so people loved, they drove through multiple times and they loved the display, so if we could come up with something that really had a message and said something. I mean, First Night did a tribute to Paul Robinson, our treasurer who passed away, and people really, like, that was moving to people, and so if we could come up with something for that, First Night would be really appreciative, and I would be happy to help create it.
Like, we have time, I feel like we should get together ahead of that though, and like start it, cause I feel like that's not enough time.
When is it? When? It's the
Well,
same
it
day as
starts,
The 4th.
Oh, the 4th.
it starts December 18th. But you can start setting up on the 4th. So there's 2 full weekends before it actually begins to go. Actually, there's 2 whole weeks, including 2 weekends when people don't normally have to work to go to the park and set it up, but,
Well, because it's gonna be a little chilly, so like I feel like if we have a space to do this in,
Like
Um,
brainstorming.
like, and to like maybe start it ahead of time. If we're gonna have to like build something for underneath as a base and have a foundation, chicken wire, all this stuff, we can do all that indoors.
well, the
In the
first night
center.
has a room in the armory. And so some of the stuff that we built last night, we built in the armory and we brought over there.
Which we have access to, so we could utilize them for.
And that's a great place to work. It's almost too warm in there in the winter time. But, you know, if anybody wants to do it, I'm happy to help organize it and even, you know, get some other people to help out and stuff.
So let's come up with some ideas that we might want our festival of light structure to be, and we can email each other about it.
Yeah.
Luke, are you excited? You're gonna be popping off with ideas later.
Yeah, these are.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, if you go online and you look up even just light up festival of lights or chicken wire sculptures. I mean, you can take chicken wire and create figures really easily. And then, for example, the roller derby, Hill City Rollers, they created a roller skate and they just wrapped it with Christmas lights and at night it lit up and it was magical.
I'm just thinking like a giant light bright, like.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, you can go nuts and put technology in and have things, you know, sequencing and stuff. But it can also be pretty simple and still people love it, you know.
Thank you, Carol.
I love it.
So guys, we need to think about what we wanna do, and then we'll exchange emails.
Yeah, the idea is key, you know, like what it's gonna stand for.
It's a good way for us to get centered on our mission and purpose. because we
Yeah,
can Put it in lights.
Everybody sees it in the
Yeah.
whole town.
Or it sounds like the community needs like a social justice mission.
Amen.
Sounds like we need a
To
roller
spark inspiration.
That's right, and we do a lot of advertising around it too, so like, I was just, Michelle Clapperton from Town Square Media is joining our board, and they wanna do a big campaign on the radio. So we could go in and do interviews and talk about what our display is all about and why we're doing it. If we just come up with the right idea,
Awesome.
would be great.
Something to think about.
So electricity is automatically provided, I presume, since it's
Well, you
lights.
know, I kind of lived in the park from December 13th or 14th through January 3rd, because there were tripping circuit breakers. But the park is actually working on redoing all the electric in the park for the Festival
Oh,
of
good.
Lights and Hometown 4th of July. Plus, if we don't get reliable electricity, we already bought one generator last year, so we're gonna buy another one. And just make sure that everybody's displays light up and stay lit this year.
Is that the one?
It's at Neowa, yeah, and like Lou Lansing from Neowa Park is all about
Mhm.
public art and, you know, it could grow and be really part of this beautiful push. I mean, she just suggested doing a tribute to service dogs, like the 400 dogs that were at 9/11, you know, at the dog park and do a sculpture
Oh, wow.
for that. And there's just like, it's such an exciting,
Yeah.
thing, but the Festival of Lights is, it's in its baby infancy, you know? But it's unique to Oneana. It was all Oneana people.
Yeah, why not?
With their quirky little things. You know, you go to other festivals of lights and it's all these commercial
That's
elves
right,
and
white
stuff.
guys.
And we had our very own, you know, like made by the people, so I think we could build on that and
Awesome.
that would be really super cool in the long run.
So because of time, The future and purpose of the commission, which I have on here.
We
Maybe,
keep tabling it, I feel like we have to
we
discuss it.
have been tabling it
I
for
know.
like 5 years. But next meeting, we really will only have the parade to discuss, we don't, if it's a federal change, Columbus Day was federally changed, then that should be like an automatic then, it's
It
really
should
a
be.
motion.
I would think so.
I would think so too. I don't think it's something we need to discuss. I have a proposal. In my experience, it's much easier to talk about something if somebody writes something, even if we take it apart completely. Without the role and purpose. If somebody
Okay,
would just
well,
write a
That's
half
a great idea.
page, a little paragraph. And then we send it out by email so everybody can read it before we get here. And then you could completely change it, but it's very, very difficult to like creation ex nihilo out of nothing.
Yeah.
So we have a role and purpose that's online.
Yeah.
If you go online, there's already, that.
So if we
But
all,
then also we have a brochure that has more in it, and
Right.
these are the closest we've come to this, because
okay.
we tend to have different opinions at that point. Or we do in the future, or not in the future, in the past we did. Now we have different council members and, you know, we may look differently.
So we should all come in to read that
But-
before we get here.
We have, yes, so we have written up online and then our brochure.
Yeah. So read what's
I don't think I
online.
have your brochure.
Can I just like, I'll try and keep it quick, but we just went through this process with First Night because one of our foundations asked us for a business plan. And, you know, like, I thought, oh my God, a business plan, what's that? And why are we gonna take time away from our programming and our fundraising and everything we need to do to go sit down and have a strategic planning session with a consultant, come up with all this, but it was, in the end, it was so valuable to define what you're trying to do, to come up with a strategy of how you're gonna get there, to get an action plan, like, and just since we started that in August, we've already like made leaps and bounds of getting ourselves organized, getting people on board, getting a succession plan for leadership, you know, getting like way to raise funds and, you know, it's just, it really amazed me. I'm like such a skeptic of all that consultants and money down the drain, you know,
Yeah.
not going to the people, you know, but it really, really was valuable.
In the past, we had other board members that kind of got conflicty a little bit when we were bringing this subject up and we're trying to figure out what we'd like to see happen. But also there's like no direct piece from any one mayor for the entire of this commission that says that it is specifically supposed to be A, B, C, D, subset A, B, C, D. This is what we're supposed to do. It's just been general. Because it kind of I don't know, it kind of like, I know when I joined and I was reading, I'm like, wow, this kind of sounds like this is a little bit of an afterthought, this commission. Like it was created quickly and like they knew that they needed it, but like, you know, trying to get it up and running because it was necessary, and that was wonderful that they did that, but like the general bones were missing. So this has been, I mean, Joyce, I'm sure will vouch for me, this has been a long time effort to try to do this.
We could do great stuff if we just figure out what it is that we're trying to accomplish and figure out a way, a strategy to accomplish it. And then,
Within the mayoral, but the thing is, the way this commission's set up is that, like, we're here for the mayor to utilize when there's things that arise, right? That's typically where we report to the mayor.
Okay.
So this adds this other dynamic of, okay, then what is our role to the citizens in the community? How deep does that get? How do we go with that? So, when I got on, I started pushing us into the community, pushing us further, trying to get our names out. I know Joyce wanted to be active and part of doing that as well, and like seeing the commission grow that way. But not like always everybody's had that idea, like in how they're running, you know, or what to see about. And really, the mayor has been really giving and like letting us have the space and like have the ability to kind of create it as we like. But yet that we still have like these kind of boundaries in place that we have to figure out how we're gonna shift with it. And
Well,
still
I
be in
would
the
like to
community.
propose, I would be honored to do like a rough draft for us, combining the site on the website's description and brochure, including our events that we already do in a schedule, and then create a document, and then we can invite the mayor to our next meeting, and then have him look at it beforehand and see like if we're on the right path.
The new mayor.
The
or
new
the old
mayor.
mayor.
That would be great.
That would be his last.
And then obviously I can send it to you guys too, like once I have it all combined. I think Reverend Garvey is spot on when we have something to look at and tweak, and work is always easier than trying to generate something from thin air.
Thank you
Yeah.
for volunteering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I clarify, are you gonna make a statement or?
So I'll just combine what's already existing, and then
Okay.
I'll throw in kind of like a schedule of like the events we already do, like in chronological order throughout the month. And that'll help for our budgeting too, so we know what kind of money we have already promised or expecting to spend, and then we'll know how much we have left over.
Okay,
Hopefully by then we'll know for sure how much our yearly budget is too, and then we can just tweak that.
okay, are you gonna be able to get that out of line for everybody to see?
Yeah, I'll create a document and email you guys.
Yeah, that's great that you volunteered to do this, I was thinking the same thing too.
Cool.
Terrific, good.
Joyce is sharing.
just for clarification, we would need a meeting to then deal with what is written and refine it,
Okay, so
before we would
next-
invite somebody in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, so probably, and since it's election year,
right.
we probably, for inviting the mayor in, it would make more
Makes more
sense to
sense to
do
wait.
that after first of the year, a meeting,
And the new mayor.
January, yeah.
well, I think we can use the benefit of like such a loose structure to say like, hey, this is what we're comfortable with, we're confident we can handle these tasks, and then just kind of get approval for it. Instead of saying like, hey, what can we do? We can say, this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
And then go
Right.
from there.
We come up with a proposal and see if the
We'll agree on it before we see the mayor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Good.
definitely.
I think I can do it within the next week, and then I can email you the rough draft, you guys can check my spelling and kind of like ideas it too.
Great, thank you.
I don't know that we necessarily need approval from the mayor, it's just like making sure we're staying in our lane.
Okay, well, that's even better.
That's important.
And just staying in our lane versus like beating on stuff.
Can I just mention one other thing that's different from what you already said? It's more like an announcement, but I missed my spot. I'm working with my friend Deb Marcus from the temple, who's also the head of family planning, to look at possibly bringing some families in from wherever, refugees. So we're working with the center in Utica, and they're doing a roundtable. We had this huge Zoom meeting the other day with every social service person. It was awesome. People are very, very interested in this. I have no idea if it's actually going to happen or what will happen, but I'll keep you apprised if it's interested in working with that. That was very great. It's very interesting.
I've been interested in,
Yeah.
especially Afghan.
Right, well, we don't
right
get to say what kind or
Yeah.
what nation they're coming from, but there are a lot. They actually call them parolees.
Yeah.
Who are now here from Afghanistan. Why? Why do they use that
terrible.
word? It's weird, but there are already a whole bunch who are in this country, but they're at military bases. And they can just leave whenever they want, but they don't have any destination in mind, like support waiting for them. So that's just what we would have to be doing, but I have no idea if they'll actually send us any. Last time was 2016, this same coalition met and worked really hard, and then they were all ready to welcome people. And the administration in Washington changed, and suddenly all the immigration was cut off, so there were no refugees coming at all. So anyway, I'll keep you
Specifically
specifically.
to Oneonta.
Yeah,
Yes, I remember when we were trying to attempt the last time.
yeah. So we're trying again. So there's a lot of enthusiasm about it, but we'll see what happens. But I'll keep you posted.
Thank
Good,
you.
good.
Does anyone have anything else for the good of the commission this evening?
The last thing I just would kind of quickly ask, if there are, just because I'm still kind of new, any other like events that the commission works on? Now, there's the Trailblazers, Juneteenth, hopefully we kind of participate in the 4th of July parade, Festival of Lights. Looks like this is December, the holiday parade, anything?
We've done the picnics, we've done the workshops at Job Corps.
Oh yeah, the workshops that I do have.
That's to go.
And the picnic is for the,
It was the NAACP picnic, but we're hoping to run our own this year, but we might have to end up, or next year would be.
I have a question. When we have visitors, I'm always so curious about our visitors and who they are and what their interests
Yeah,
are.
so,
Can we,
my Aunt Barbara,
oh, cool.
and then my twin sister Sierra.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I just want to say that I was up from Miami last year and I went to the park and saw those exhibits and they were amazing.
Oh, I'm so
So
glad.
it would be very nice if your group had something out there.
Yeah.
We should kind of do like a play on bridges, I don't know, because we're supposed to be a bridge.
Yeah,
to the
I love
community.
that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Connecting
Oh,
people,
wow.
I don't know.
Connecting people. It is not.
We can get creative
Oh,
with it.
Deandra's twin sister?
Yes,
Yeah.
Wow, oh,
They hate each
that's
other.
so cool. I'm so glad.
And their mom is my sister
Oh, my
Awesome.
goodness.
and I live in Miami, but I'm up here quite often.
Nice.
And so, yeah, it was very nice.
Oh, so happy to have you here. I used to live in Kendall.
Oh, that's where I live.
Oh.
Listen, I went to this park thing the other day. I was actually just strolling because it was such a pretty day. And a group of students were doing cleanup on Yanta.
Oh, wow.
And it was from SUNY.
Yeah.
And so after I got the whole gist of what they were doing, I had already taken a bag. And I said, I don't want to waste this bag. I'm going back to Miami. I'm gonna return the bag, but tell them it was a very worthy cause. And I returned the bag to the new president of SUNY.
Oh, yes.
And I said to him, I'm
Great.
returning this because I think it's a wonderful cause, but I live in Miami. And he said, I'm from Miami. And I said, "You are where?" He said, Little Havana. Where do you live? I said, I live in Kendall. He said, my brother lives in Kendall. So we exchanged business cards, told him my niece is a graduate of SUNY. So if you want any word into the president of SUNY,
He seems
I'll tell him I ran into you.
there you go.
Yeah, we're so excited to have him.
Yeah, he seemed like a great guy. I mean, we spent maybe 20 minutes together, but he seemed like he wanted to do a whole lot more than apparently that's been done.
Yeah, it's community, college community relationships.
Exactly. He
They've
really
just
wants to
started to
promote that
really
and get it out there.
Yeah, we're like really excited about his arrival.
Dr. Cardell.
Oh, that's so cool.
Thank you so much for coming. It's so nice to have
She's
you.
a round of offer ending her trip here with it. You went through it.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you for
Out
coming.
of state New York. Oh.
Okay, I think now we can go ahead and end our meeting. Now, if no one else has anything for the good of the commission?
I have a question. Do you guys accept donations for your budget?
Can we accept donations?
Excellent question, Sierra.
Thank you.
It's a directed donation process that has to be arranged through the finance department.
But that's a yes?
I believe it is able to happen.
So
But it has to be
here's
a
your
directed donation.
Awesome. Even if it was something that was organized, like you guys did it through Venmo and then that person wrote one lump sum through that process, it might be an idea to put on the website, because that budget is just shaking my head, guys, that's really. So I'm sure people could donate, yeah.
Do you know that if we get a donation, can it be guaranteed to come here or will it go to the city?
That's, so by directing it, someone would, like, we have people that have directed donations to Appleball Gardens. The council has to approve the acceptance of the donation. But then, like, we've got, I believe it's police or fire, one of them has directed donations, so. But Ginny Lee, she's the one you need to talk to.
Okay.
Wow. No, that's good.
Good question.
I don't think anybody else would be against it.
Right.
So I think fundraising.
That's exactly right.
Okay,
Thank you for that question.
so, thank you, yes, Joyce.
That's a question for Carrie. Do you know who goes off the commission in January?
I know Marty is up in November to be reappointed, and I believe you're finished for January.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think you turn out.
Do you only have a 2-year term and then you're off?
I've been on this for beyond, I think, the new rules
Yes.
of the city. Because the mayor gave me an invitation, so I think my term was up.
You have done 3 full terms consecutive. So the charter. When the charter update happened in 2012, it reset the clock for everybody, and you've now done your 3 full.
So if I know, Chris, so when I came in behind Michelle, I was supposed to complete her term,
Correct.
and then my term start,
Then
correct?
you start 3 from after that completion. It's 3 full consecutive terms.
After I completed Michelle's term.
Yes,
How long is the term?
3 years.
So you've been on for
Oh,
nine.
3 years is
At
that?
least.
Yeah.
So if you were brought in on a partial term, that time doesn't count against you.
Right.
But then it starts at the 3.
Right.
I think
You could
If you
you're right.
Where's the tree?
Well,
Finish out this, and then
that was under the old rules. And they, so they reset the clock with the new rules.
all right, guys. So with that, I think we're finally gonna end our meeting tonight. So I call to end, the meeting of the Commission on Community Relations and Human Rights for